Hey guys, welcome back to yet another Monday, like Monday Madness. I don't know. I'm trying to still think of a show name for this. Right now, it's just Ellie times Kendall.
Yeah.
If you guys have a better show name, please let us know. So sorry that I'm a little bit late. My Wi-Fi has been crapping out. If you joined into my stream with Adrian earlier, you saw that it crapped out. I have to get like an expander. I moved places, so I'm like next to the Wi-Fi, so hopefully I don't have any issues, but it was giving me issues behind stage. So Kendall, if that happens, just lead the show until I'm back.
I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah, you look so glowing. It's incredible. Yeah, how are you doing?
I think it's just the ring light.
I have a ring light too, and I don't look like that. So
you look good anyway, though. You don't need a ring light. I clearly do because it makes me look more angelic.
We're both just like playing around, like trying to get settled here.
Yeah.
I've had such a long day. It's like throwing me off that it gets dark so early now as well. And like, where has my day gone? It's pitch black now.
The winter nights are horrible. I love summer, but I just hate this time of year. Like, I just hate the dark mornings and dark evenings. I feel like I don't get as much out of my day when they're like dark nights.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Because if it's dark outside, I'm like, no, I'm not going to go out. But in the summer, in Spain, the sun sets past 10 p.m. It's insane. Because in New York, it's like 8:30 at the latest. And so for me, I was like, oh my God, it's 10 p.m. No wonder why I'm eating dinner so late, because it's still like right out. So it's like such an adjustment now. But guys, we will get into all of the football that happened. It was pretty crazy Premier League weekend. As always, if you have any questions for us, feel free to leave them. Hey, Carlito, thanks so much for joining. I noticed that you join consistently every single week, which is absolutely insane. So thank you so much for joining. Israel said, much love from Kenya with like a billion exclamation points. Thank you so much. So cool. We're international over here. I do want to start talking about Premier League, and I'll kick it off with your team, Newcastle. You're at the grounds for the new management's first game in charge. So what was the atmosphere like going into the stadium?
The atmosphere was insane. Like, it was probably, I've had a season ticket now since 2006. Even when I was at university, I still used to go to games and stuff. But I think that atmosphere yesterday, well, at the beginning, we'll not talk about later on in the game. The atmosphere beforehand and at the beginning of the game was probably one of the best I've ever seen in the 15 years that I've been going to the matches. Honestly, it was just utter like joy and relief to have this new era behind us, and it was really, really good. And then obviously first 5 minutes was good.
Callum Wilson scored.
Callum Wilson's goal was really, really good. And I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe they're up for this because of like just the general atmosphere. And then after that, I don't even think we did anything good post that point. Obviously, it 3-2. It wasn't a good reflection of how the game actually went because Tottenham dominated most of the game. And obviously, Eric Dyer scored an own goal. So it wasn't like necessarily indicative of how the game actually went, the 3-2 scoreline. I think we kind of got out of that a little bit easily. But yeah, it wasn't good. But the only thing I can think of is that it shows the new owners how badly the team needs investment. Because yesterday, most of the team's fit. The only person that would really be missing is Almiron, who was on international duty with Paraguay and is isolating at the moment. So he's the only first team player really that will be missing. And we were really bad yesterday. So it just shows them how much investment's needed in that team.
Yeah. And do you feel that you're going to see a new manager like sooner rather than later now that you have new management?
I really think we have to. Like, we can't change the team until January unless they get some free agents in. But we actually don't have any squad space currently for free agents, so that's unlikely anyway. So the only thing that can be changed is the manager. We've only won 7 games in 38 games. Like, that we haven't won all season. That record for any manager, never mind when you're at in the relegation zone right now, is horrible. It's a really bad record, and I just think it's the only tangible thing that we can actually change right now as a club is the manager. So we've changed the owner. We can't change the team for another 2 months yet. So we really, really need to look at changing the manager. I thought it might have been today, because I genuinely thought that they were just giving him his 1000th game yesterday, just to give him that achievement and move on. But it hasn't happened still up until this point. And obviously, it's now past 7 o'clock, so I don't think it'll happen today. I just really, really hope it happens this week. We're really desperate for it, actually.
I feel like those things happen almost like behind the scenes, like when Frank Lampard got sacked. I remember we lost against Leicester, and I was thinking, okay, the announcement is coming after this loss. And then he played an FA Cup game, and then the sacking news came like the Monday after an FA Cup win. So it was just like really randomly timed, like from an outsider's perspective. But now if I look back on it, I'm thinking, well, they probably had this planned for a while, so it might just be a matter of like tying up loose ends and getting someone. I think if you have a manager lined up, you're probably not going to hear about it until it's like about to drop or has dropped. Like they tend to keep these things like massively under wraps. Nick says, hi girl, sorry you couldn't smush Spuds Kendall. I think it's going to be very hard to stay up. So even with new management, do you think that they're going to invest heavily in the January transfer window in the hopes of Newcastle staying up? Because obviously if you get relegated, it could be really difficult to attract that talent to come to the championship.
Yeah, I mean, if we get relegated, that puts us another 2 years behind on the plan. And, that's just not good enough right now. I think in January, I personally thought they weren't going to invest heavily. I thought they were just going to make use of the loan market and spend maybe, it was said 50 million was the budget. And I said to myself, that's really, for us, that would be absolutely fine. It would be like 2 really decent quality players and a couple of loan signings, and I was fine with that. But I think now we actually have to look at really utilising January, because by that time we might be way too far adrift at the bottom anyway to do anything about it. So we really, really have to utilise that situation in January. I don't think they're going to spend super heavily, and I wouldn't really want to, because we really need to see where we're at in the summer. And that's when the bigger moves are going to come in the summer. But yeah, we absolutely are desperate for experience and quality in January, because right now that team's it's actually really, really hard to watch at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm just taking a look at the upcoming fixtures. So you play Crystal Palace and then Chelsea. We'll have to do something for that. Brighton have been strong, so you might be able to get a result there. I'm just looking. Arsenal as well, so it's not even like the next couple of fixtures are so easy for you guys. But I really hope
honestly, I don't think any fixture this season is easy for us. That's the worry, because normally we've stayed up. I think I said in the show before, we've stayed up on the premise that other teams were worse than us. And that's genuinely been the case. And now I just can't. We haven't won in 8 games. I just can't see any other team worse than us right now. And I honestly, I'm concerned that the bottom of the table now, which is, I think it's Burnley, us, and Norwich, I think that might be the 3 that go down. And we honestly can't afford to go down now after this takeover and stuff, because it would just be silly. It's like a bad business decision.
Yeah, 1,000%. Just going through some of the comments, Jumbo Ireland says, yay, Ellie and Kendall, you to make my Mondays mates, which is super cool. Thank you so much. I love that. Luke Bose said, I fancy they'll release a statement with Steve Bruce has left Newcastle, insert manager takes over with immediate effect. Could be that you don't have like
I think that's what they might be waiting for, a replacement. And who that is, I don't know. It's going to have to be an out of work manager, I believe, because like they're talking about Steven Gerrard, but I just can't see him coming from Rangers, where he has a lot of success, Champions League football most years. I can't see him coming, anything like that. It's going to have to be the likes of Eddie Howe, Just someone who's out of work at the moment.
Yeah, I really like it. I don't know why. Maybe it's because we have the same initials. Like, I just like always love what he did with Bournemouth. I thought it was like such a beautiful story, and he was super successful there until they got relegated. But Luke says I could see Lampard coming in. Could be. We've kind of
he's been the name that's like on everyone's lips. He really has, but I worry that it's just too big of a challenge at this stage in his career, because Alan Shearer was at a similar age when he took over Newcastle, like 8 or 9 years ago now, and probably longer than that. And he's never stepped foot back into management since, because it actually ruined his idea of being a manager. So I'm concerned that it would be too much of a challenge for Frank Lampard, who's only ever known Chelsea, like obviously as a manager, really, to get us out of the relegation zone. Concerns me a little bit that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you need somebody with a little bit more experience and just like grinding out results, and that's it. But maybe in the future, once he has some more experience. So I do want to talk about some of the other teams that played. One of the big talking points of the weekend was that Leicester smashed Man United 4-2. Absolutely insane. Kendall, what is going wrong with Manchester United?
Honestly, I watched that game and I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how bad Harry Maguire was for a start. I don't actually even know where his head was. A lot of people have said that he's not even like fit, but I was looking at that yesterday and I was like, you are not going to win anything with a team of individuals, because I feel like that's what it is at the moment. It's not a system. The team's not playing together as a team. And I'm worried for them. Oh, I'm not worried. I mean, it doesn't bother me if they do bad. But when I watched that yesterday, I just thought Ollie is really under pressure now, because that was really bad yesterday. They were ahead twice and then ended up getting beat 4-2. So yeah, it didn't look good yesterday. Not yesterday, Saturday even.
Yeah, I have no idea what day it is anymore.
Me either.
Leslie said, "Oh, today is live stream day." Yeah, we had a stream earlier, another stream, keeping you up to date with content. C1 London says, Ellie and Kendall, big up. Thank you so much. Tielemans is a top player, and he ran the game. I think he also scored like a brilliant goal as well, which was absolutely insane. But it just like makes me wonder, like I feel like Man United have had such, I don't know, like periods where they just do poorly, but we still see that Ole is the manager and they still stick by him, and that seems to be their stance. So I'm just wondering, like, how much is too much? I mean, they have so many talented players, the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Greenwood as well, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes. Like, on paper, their star power is insane. Luke Shaw had an amazing Euros, and then I feel like he hasn't really looked that good for United either. Pogba always looks better for France than he does for United. So I wonder if it's a matter of having too much firepower or Ole just not knowing how to get the best out of the team. But that was a game that I fully expected them to win, at least draw, but to lose 4-2 is just shocking.
100%. And Leicester haven't even started that well this season. So for them to pull off that performance like that, I mean, Tielemans' goal was insane. To be fair, Mason Greenwood's goal was really, really good as well. But Tielemans is just, as he says, Tielemans is just so quality. I would love Tielemans, a Tielemans type player in our midfield. I would really, really love that. But yeah, it just didn't look good for them on Saturday, and I think they really need to fix up now, because if they want to be top four, there's so many other teams that you aren't expecting to perform as well as they are. I know it's early season still, but obviously the likes of Brighton, Everton have started really well, Brentford have started really well. It's whether they can keep it up, but yeah, they really, really need to fix up now.
Yeah, and it's interesting because now we go into the Champions League. They lost against Young Boys. They won against Villarreal, but in the 95th minute, courtesy of Cristiano Ronaldo. So I consider that pretty lucky. And I thought that Villarreal actually were more dominant than they were in that game. Now they play at Atalanta in the Champions League. I don't see them winning that game. I mean, Ole tends to get a result when he needs one. So maybe they do, because that's just how it seems to go. But I just find their form so consistent, especially like their approach to big games as well. It's really surprising to me. So, like you said, I think they really need to do something. I think a lot of United fans, from what I can see on Twitter, if you guys are United fans, in the comments, let me know. I have one here. My club is finished. Let me know like what you think about this manager situation, if you want to get somebody else in. Because I think it's just become too much for Ole maybe, and they maybe need to find somebody else to steer United into the right direction. Cisse says, if we get Zidane, we win the UCL. Well,
Zidane would be he's such a Man United manager, if that makes sense. Like he's like a character. He's very like a Jose type. Like he's just like on the side of the pitch. Like that's who you want, because it puts fear into other teams. If they cop Zidane, like honestly, I have no doubt that they will win something this season. I don't think it'll be Champions League, but I think they'll win something. But the board have consistently said that they really are invested in Ole, and his job's quite safe. So until it starts affecting you guys, like in the league, like until you start dropping, to 8th, 9th, 10th, I don't think anything will be done at the moment.
Yeah, I think so as well. Luke Alistair asks an interesting question. Says, is Sancho's poor start an indication as to why Chelsea didn't go all out to get him? I think he was just always going for United. I know he's a Chelsea fan, but I think at that point Chelsea signed Ziyech like February, like right after the January transfer window in 2020, was it? Like almost 2 years ago. And at that point, United kind of had this massive summer of like trying to pursue Jadon Sancho and getting him to sign. And Chelsea went and signed a bunch of players, and then he signed for United this year. So I think it was more that Chelsea just had other players in mind that maybe better suited the project that Frank was implementing at the time. And Jadon probably had like a wicked contract offer at Manchester United as well. But I mean, he's a super talented player. I think he's going to come into terms, but it's hard to, come back and play in the Premier League when your team isn't playing especially well either. Like it does affect players. Partha says United need Antonio Conte, someone who's tactically sound. It may not be attractive football, but they need someone who demands the best and accepts nothing less. I love Antonio Conte. Like I loved him at Chelsea. He's a fantastic coach. And he's always super animated on the sideline. And I just feel like he gets 100% out of his team. He is so tactically brilliant that he knows how to manipulate players. And he made, Victor Moses a right wing back. Like who would think to do that, So I really like Antonio Conte. But there's let's see what happens with Manchester United. Nick says, can we talk about Paul Scholes? I don't know if you saw that comment on Instagram, Kendall.
I didn't actually know. What did he say?
It was like, what does it say about Chelsea's performance that Mendy was their man of the match, something like that.
If you're going to be a defensively sound team, you need a world-class goalkeeper. It's as simple as that. I think anyone, if you look at everyone who's won a tournament or like even international tournaments over the last few years, like even like longer than that, they've always had a phenomenal goalkeeper behind them. Like obviously Liverpool have had Alisson, Man City have had Ederson, like even like Donnarumma, for example, for Italy in the summer. Like what I don't understand, like what do you that comment is just so mind blown to me, because like of course that means he's doing his job. If he's man of the match, he's doing his job. That he's got job is to not concede a goal.
Did you happen to see the Chelsea game?
I saw highlights. I didn't actually see the game. I saw highlights later on, and he was that bicycle kick save.
to walk you through, like, the last 20 minutes was just Brentford attack after attack after attack after attack, and Chelsea could not get the ball out of their half at all. And it was save after save from Mendy. Trevor Chalobah made a goal line clearance. Like, Mendy came out and he blocked the shot. The shot rebounded. You see Trevor running, and then he saves it from there. Fingertip save as well. Like, his performance was absolutely insane. And yes, Chelsea were conceding a lot of chances, but it was just like unsteady. I think it's massive credit to Brentford for applying that attack. I mean, they're not an easy team to play against. They beat Arsenal, they beat West Ham, they drew against Liverpool, and playing them away, their supporters are fantastic. So I was always going into this match like, I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as some people might think. But Mendy was absolutely insane. And the thing that's a little bit worrying for me is, like, I feel he's really outperforming his expected saves. He has a 95 save percentage right now, which is insane.
That's crazy.
Insane. And Chelsea are conceding more shots. So it wasn't a pretty game of football. It was one of those games that Ben Chilwell had a worldie and scored that volley. But I also think that those are the types of games that you need to win in order to compete for a title, that you don't play well, but you still manage to get 3 points somehow and stay alive. And those are the types of games that we would have drawn or even lost. We could have easily lost 3-1 for I don't know how many shots on target they had, but it was at least like 7 in the second half. So it was insane. What do you think about Chelsea? Because I feel that we still really haven't seen the best out of them, to be honest. It still feels like we're getting results, but not playing extremely well.
Yeah, 100%. I haven't seen a Chelsea performance of the Chelsea that we saw towards the end of last season, because I just thought you guys were like unbeatable last season, towards the back end of last season. Tuchel came in and cemented his regime and his system, and it was working so well. We haven't seen that yet, but as you say, you're getting results, and that is, it doesn't matter how you play. You can play like the worst team ever, but as long as you get those 3 points to win the league, that is everything. So it doesn't really matter how you play. But I know some people argue, well, if you're not playing well, you probably aren't going to get the 3 points, and that's okay. But if you have people like Mendy in goal, then you are a hell of a lot better than if you don't have that defensive element to your team. So yeah, I think it's only a matter of time. You'll go into it, and hopefully, we see the regimented Tuchel system come back through soon enough, because I still think you're one of the favourites for the league. Obviously, Champions League is going to be a little bit different this year, because it's like very unlikely that you retain a Champions League, but you still could. And Real Madrid did it and stuff. So yeah, we'll see. As you say, you're getting results, and that's really the main thing at the moment. And there's a couple of players that weren't even playing last season who have come through again, like Loftus-Cheek, like Ben Chilwell, like Chalobah. Like, it's just people like that who are coming through that you didn't even have last season. So it is going to be a difference anyway. But yeah, I still think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous because I think Mendy's going to AFCON at some point in the season in the next couple of months, and he's out for like a month. And at that point, like, Keba has looked strong in the times that he has come in, but Mendy has just been world class, in my opinion. One of the best keepers in the world right now, without question. I mean,
then now you need the results like you got at the weekend to keep you in good stead for over that period, so that you're doing everything you can at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Just wanted to thank Partha. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Make sure to hit the like button if you are watching. It really does help me out a lot and help other people find this channel and watch the show, hopefully in the future as well. So Ruben has been so good. I mean, he's somebody that was incredible in the 18-19 season under Mauricio Sarri, and it looks like he was going to be, that he finally broken through and got in his chance, and then he had a terrible injury, and ever since then he's just been trying to get back into it. And he's one of my favorite players, and he's just so like silky and smooth on the ball, and he's so special. Like, he's a massive player, but he still has so much control and he has so much technique. And I really like, it seems that Tuchel knows how to get the best out of him. We've seen Loftus-Cheek play literally all over the pitch. Now we're seeing him play a role that I never expected him to play, like even deeper than Conte and Koba. But it was really interesting. I thought that he really excelled in that role as well. Pivoting to one of the other games, we saw Liverpool absolutely smack Watford 5-0. Claudio Ranieri's first game in charge. You're shaking your head. Why are you shaking your head, Kendall?
Because it was just insane. I know everyone's going to say, oh, Watford, but they actually did nothing. Like, honestly, I felt so sorry for them because I know what it's like to watch your team like actually be really bad, and I just felt so sorry from the Liverpool. Just did not let up at all. Watford had no they just had no desire at all. It looked like they'd given up then, and that's like the worst thing you can do, is just look like you've already given up, because it doesn't scare teams. Like, teams like, okay, well, we can just go in and beat these now. And as a newly promoted team, you really don't want that. So I just couldn't believe the performance of Mo Salah specifically, but like even the likes of Mane, who got 100 goals, and Firmino as well, who Firmino was hat-trick. I just, it's absolutely insane. Liverpool look so strong, and I think they probably are surprising a lot of people this season.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people kind of like discounted them a bit because they had an off season last season. They also were just plagued with injuries. So I totally get it. And they're coming back and competing and looking so strong. I really don't know who's going to win between Liverpool, City, and Chelsea. Like, it's going to be extremely close, in my opinion. No idea. So Arsenal play Crystal Palace in half an hour. We have a game to look forward to. Who do you think is going to come out on top in that game?
I don't know, because Arsenal haven't started the season great. Crystal Palace haven't really started the season that great. Arsenal form has been a little bit better over the past few games, but I think is it at the Emirates or is it Selhurst Park?
It's at the Emirates, yeah.
At the Emirates. So you'd always like really back Arsenal, especially with like Vieira being a new manager. Vieira's going to want to, he's going to want to win. I would hope, as the manager at his old club. But I'll go draw. I'll go 1-1 draw.
Interesting. I'm trying to think of like my fantasy team. I have Ben White in defense, but Conor Gallagher in midfield. So
Conor Gallagher's looked so good this season as well. He's looked so good.
He's insane. Like, Chelsea is so blessed in like the academy department. It's ridiculous. But
Chelsea's academy is like, every club should look to Chelsea's academy as a benchmark for what they should be, because they have produced so many good players, and all the players that have come from Chelsea's academy, like Conor Gallagher, like Livramento at Southampton, just people like that have just looked so good already this season, in a completely different environment. So yeah, just you produce so much talent. It's actually crazy.
I know, and we can't hold on to all of it, and we're seeing like all the players leave. But there's Billy Gilmour as well. He hasn't been playing much for Norwich, but he got man of the match for Scotland in the international break, and he's so talented as well. Like, every game that he plays, that he makes like his premiere, he gets man of the match, which is pretty crazy. Chelsea is so blessed. My throat. Benji says, "How do I ask a question?" You just comment in the
exactly what you've just done.
We see it come up, and then I can pull it up via StreamYard. So yeah, exactly what you've just done. If you have questions, then I see it, and I try to go through as many as possible when asking them. Ravi said, "Question for Kendall: are Newcastle strikers good enough?"
We only really have one. We only really have Callum Wilson. I mean, we do have Dwight Gale, but he doesn't even play. Like yesterday when they brought Callum Wilson off, you would think that the replacement would be another striker, but actually they brought two like attacking like wingers and attacking midfielders on, because they brought Fraser and Jacob Murphy on. So we didn't even have a striker on the pitch for like 20 minutes yesterday. So at the moment, I think Callum Wilson's good enough to be like a lower table Premier League side, but he's not enough, if that makes sense. He's good, but he's not enough to just by himself and doesn't stay fit long enough. So the answers are probably not no, because we only have Callum Wilson. So no is the answer.
G says, big up the girls. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Carlita says, what do you think the top of the league is going to look like at the end? Honest opinion. I'll let you go first, Ken.
I think the title is 100% between Chelsea and Man City, and I can't even Liverpool. I wouldn't even put Liverpool there, really. I think it'll be Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool. Only because I think Man City are going to go out and buy a striker in January. And they're doing all right with that one right now. So they don't really need to. But I think they might do that. And if they do that, then, yeah, I think that'll help. And it's really hard to look past them. But I do think Chelsea could easily be the opposite way around as well.
Yeah, I think it like really depends if Chelsea can start like playing better, because I don't think that we're going to be able to grind out wins without playing well forever. And I think a big part of that is trying to figure out how to get the best out of Romelu Lukaku. Like, clearly we still haven't figured it out. At Inter they did. He plays super well and scores for the Belgian team as well. So as in regards to Chelsea, like, I don't really have the answers. Like, I feel like we need to just try a couple of different things. I think Timo has looked pretty promising. Kai, we know, can be a really good player, but he just hasn't come into form. Mason hasn't been super in form. It must be really hard. Like, I think probably it's just all catching up to them. Like, you won the Champions League, you went straight into the Euros, and then you go straight into a Premier League season, like, but not having barely any break, and like mentally it must be super fatiguing to just like keep going. So I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that that's part of the reason, that like part of what's going on. But yeah, I hope that Chelsea can get the best out of Lukaku. I'm sure that we will. It's just a matter of figuring out the formation and players to kind of go around him. So yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be so close between Chelsea and City, honestly. I really, really do. In my predictions video that I posted in the summer, I predicted City to win. That was before Chelsea signed Lukaku. So I'm going to support my club, and I'm going to say we win, but I also don't want to jinx it, but I want to support them. So I'm going to go Chelsea, City, Liverpool, and then fourth, I have no idea, because at this point, I don't know if it's going to
could be anyone.
Manchester United. Well, we're getting so many questions. Thanks, guys. C1 London says, question to Ellie and Kendall. Do you think Callum should be playing in the front line more often now? Honestly, like, I don't think that he's done more than the other players in the team to warrant starting. I don't think like anybody has played particularly well.
No.
So really that spot is up for anybody. Like, we have Timo, Havertz, Mason, Ziyech, Callum, Pulisic, who's been out injured forever as well. And then you have Lukaku, but he's kind of a given. I feel like I might be missing somebody, but I think that's it. So, I mean, it's really 7 players competing for Ruben is now kind of like in the mix as well with those players, because we saw that he started ahead of Mace at the weekend, for example. So you have like 8 players really competing for 3 spots. So really, like, I feel like it could be up to anybody to kind of grab that. When I saw him play, I didn't think that he did anything extremely special to warrant to start, but he's still super young and needs like more time. I think it's like he needs time to develop, and he might not get that at Chelsea this season, but Chelsea wanted the squad depth, but nobody else has really done anything like anything to warrant to start either. So it's just really down to like who takes their chances first, whether given it. But Kendall, as like an outside perspective, what do you think?
The good thing is about it is that you technically have like 2 squad. I mean, you are even pushed to like 3 different squads where you could change players and it wouldn't make any difference. And I think that is so good. Like, you've just rattled off 8 players there, like with ease, who could play like in the attacking line. So, you know, that's great because you've obviously got League Cup, there's FA Cup coming up, Champions League, the Premier League as well. So you need that squad depth. And as you say, I haven't seen anything from him specifically where I'm like, right, well, he's got to be on the team sheet every week. I just think he's a great option regardless. And I would personally, for me right now, I would not like to be the manager of Chelsea because I think it's a hard decision to pick between everyone because everyone is kind of on a level playing field right now, apart from obviously you'd argue Mendy and Lukaku. So, you know, you've got so much depth there that it will just help you if you want to elevate yourself to a title or to, you know, a trophy. It will just elevate you that bit further to have that much depth because the depth is so good as well.
Totally agree. So I think it's like a blessing and a curse because you need depth for a squad, but you also need to know how to manage that depth.
Yeah.
And keep everybody happy, but also figure out the right combinations to get the squad moving. And, you know, I see a team like Liverpool. It's tricky because you see a team like Liverpool that has had basically the same front three, Mane, Salah, and Firmino, but then you see a team like City that's always rotating and they still get results. So it's like, which side do you go to? And you kind of want some consistency, but then you also need to rotate, especially because there's so many games. So, I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. I'm glad that I'm not Thomas Tuchel and I don't have to make this decision, honestly. But God, we have so many questions too. It says, Ellie, do you think we're going to a back four? We get the best out of our attackers. Also, what do you think of Pulisic's situation? I'll speak on Pulisic first. Like, I think he's so freaking talented. He's like one of my favorite players, and when he's on form, I think he's one of the best wingers in the Premier League. Like after that restart, that post restart form, he was unplayable. He was so freaking good, and if he can stay fit, like he has like a Hazard. I don't like comparing him to Hazard, but he just has like this Hazard-esque ability to like dribble in danger and draw players to him, and then like find spaces and be able to take players on and be super direct. And we don't have anybody really like that in the squad. So I think he's super unique, but he just can't seem to stay fit. And I was reading online that it's not like somebody said you can't call him injury prone because it's not the same injury every single time. It's always like different niggles that are just like terrible to try to figure out. But it's just frustrating because, you know, you think he's going to be out for 2 weeks maybe, and then it ends up being 8. I don't know. So I think he needs to stay fit in order to be, you know, the best player that he can be. But I hope that he can get over this. I mean, we've seen Ruben has struggled with injuries as well. Now he's finally getting to his best. So you just never know. What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, totally agree. When he is fit and on form, as you say, he looks so good. He's so good. He's still really young. In terms of like, you know, he's in his career, hasn't hit his peak yet, I don't think. So he really, the thing is as well, it's not really necessarily his fault that he just constantly has injuries, because he might not even be doing anything to cause those injuries. It might just be that he is the type of player to get those injuries. So hopefully, that's something they can work on. I just don't know about him, because you don't want a player to be like we've seen with the likes of who can even like Hazard, for example, who got a really bad injury and was out for a lengthy amount of time, and realistically has never looked like the same Hazard since. And you don't want that, like, especially consistently. So I just hope they can figure it out somewhere along the line, and maybe, I don't know, get a rehabilitation better so that he isn't out for so long. I don't even know what you're probably in the same boat as you. I just don't know what the solution is to that problem. Just maybe it's something that might not happen as often. I just don't know, but he does look good when he's on form.
I really wonder if it's like the amount of times that he gets fouled in a game as well.
Yeah.
Like he's constantly fouled and taking one for the team, so to speak. So I wonder if that kind of plays a part into the injury as well. Carlita says, Kendall, we'd love to see a Chelsea Newcastle rivalry start brewing in the coming years. I think
maybe in 10 years, Carlito. Maybe in 10 years. not for at least 5. I don't think that's not happening.
Well, we do. I feel like we always struggle against Newcastle for some reason. Like, you guys always
not now. Trust
us.
Me, you won't know.
Yeah, so I don't know, but we're playing each other in 2 weeks, which will be really interesting to see as well. I can't wait to talk about that game.
I'm dreading it. I'm actually dreading it.
No, don't join. G says, Ellie, you think RLC can make the England team? I do. And Ken, you think Newcastle will spend right away? You kind of talked about this already, but
yeah, as I've said, no, I think it'll be loan market in January and a substantial amount of money, like maybe like 50 million. Obviously seeing the team now might be a little bit more, but yeah, I don't think they're going to spend like stupidly in January. They can spend 190 million and it will not make a difference, but I don't think they're going to spend that.
Yeah. I think probably like we kind of said previously on other streams, like it's also like just super hard to sign players in January as well. So you kind of have to like do what you can in January to get the signings to make sure that you stay up, and hopefully they can
100%.
impact your team and make a difference. And then in the summer you can start looking to spend big. Hopefully it's going to be absolutely insane. Like it's always so crazy, the summer transfer windows, but until like the players actually get announced, it's just like all the time just getting
as well. It's just so boring for like us normally, because we know, like me personally, as like not me but our club, like we know we don't spend, well, we in previous years we've never really spent that much. Like it's always like, oh, you know, we'll probably have 20 million if that, and now it's like we can literally just sign like not whoever we want, but like we actually have money to spend, and that is just so nice to think that we're not going to go into a transfer window dreading everything because we don't have money to spend. Whereas like you guys, for example, you know that you're going to get quality signings regardless. You know you're going to get at least some decent players because the recruitment at Chelsea is so good, and it's just a total, like it's like a black and white situation where there's total opposites. So now just the hope is nice, rather than just dread.
And Mardinho says Newcastle fans deserve some joy for once.
Thank you. I think we actually do.
Well, I feel like you're going to be getting it. I'm excited to see like what happens with the club as well. All right, guys, we've been going for almost 45 minutes. It's almost 9 p.m. I still have to make dinner, and we still have like a billion questions. So if you still have questions, leave them in the comment box or save them for next week. We're back every single week at, I'm doing my math, 7 p.m. UK time, set time for this show every Monday. So yeah, leave your questions for them. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to all of them. Kendall, thanks again for joining. As always, Kendall's Twitter is in the description box. Make sure to follow her. And any parting words for our viewers?
Just thank you again. We always appreciate the support on the show. It's been so good since we started it, and I love doing this show. So yeah, thank you again. And as Ellie says, if you've got any comments, just tweet us, comment under the video, just let us know, or say, as she says, save them till next week, and hopefully we can get to your questions as well. But thank you. It's always nice to do this stream with you.
I know. I absolutely love it. It like brightens up my Monday. No, it's like Monday. Guys, if you like this stream, please drop it a like so that other people can find my channel as well and find this weekly show, and subscribe to the channel if you're not. I sound like a broken record, but honestly, like it helps me out so much. And keep your eyes out on this channel because I have a special surprise coming that has been in the works for weeks and months, and I can finally share it this week. So I'm super excited about that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for spending your Monday evening with us. We're logging off just in time to watch the Arsenal Crystal Palace game, and I'm going to go make something for dinner. Okay, bye guys. Until next time, we're out.